Yes, we can. Sure, we can change the world.
Welcome to your home for sharing the best stories from the Young African Leaders Initiative Network. Be sure to subscribe to the YALI Voices podcast on iTunes and Google Play, and visit yali.state.gov to stay up to date on all things YALI. This edition of the YALI Voices podcast is hosted by and features two Mandela Washington Fellows with an interest in agriculture and entrepreneurship. Nawsheen Hosenally from Burkina Faso interviews Joseph Lavela Saysay from Liberia. Nawsheen is the co-founder of Agribusiness TV, a web-based platform that features success stories of young agricultural entrepreneurs in Africa. Joseph holds a Ph.D. in agricultural economics and serves at the Ministry of Agriculture in the Republic of Liberia. He focuses on designing agricultural policies on a wide range of issues that affect crop and livestock production and marketing. Joseph has also volunteered his services leading a project in rural communities to improve public health and the lives of rural dwellers in Liberia. Nawsheen and Joseph discuss the state of agricultural business and policy in Liberia and the opportunities for farmers in a country where more than 70% of its people rely on agribusiness.
Hi, my name is Nawsheen Hosenally. I am a 2017 Mandela Washington Fellow from Burkina Faso. I am the co-founder of a web TV called Agribusiness TV. I am happy to be hosting this edition of the YALI Voices podcast.
Hi, my name is Joseph Lavela Saysay from Liberia. I have a Ph.D. in agriculture economics, and I work as an agriculture economist at the Ministry of Agriculture, Liberia. I'm happy to be sharing my story with the YALI Network.
So why did you choose agriculture? Was it something that you always wanted to do or something you chose later on?
Coming up as a young boy, growing up on a farm with my parents because they were farmers, and farming at the more traditional level, I decided to get into agriculture at the advanced level. So as to change the way of farming, to change the way of doing things, because I knew that sector was a sector of growth for my country, looking at a country where about 70% of the population livelihood depends on agriculture.
So can you tell us a bit more about your work at the ministry? What do you do specifically?
My work actually focuses on designing policy and programs that affect crop and livestock production, value chain analysis, marketing, program implementation, monitoring, evaluation.
So in terms of policy, how is it like in Liberia? Like how policies are made?
Liberia, if you know the story of Liberia, we have fought 14 years of civil war. Mm-hmm. And after the war, the agricultural sector more or less was like giving handout to farmers. And, in Africa, looking at just giving handout, people feel that maybe things that are given free, actually, it's not worth. So we transcend now from emergency, we go to development. Now our policy, we are designing, which we call the LASIP tool, that is our NIPE tool, which is the Liberia Agricultural Transformation Agenda. We are actually looking at agriculture as a business. The policy is that we are actually looking at agriculture as a business, and as such, even though government is subsidizing some of these inputs given to the farmer, like our redemption process, where if we are giving input to farmers, the farmers is responsible to pay 10% of the total cost of the inputs, and government pay 90%. You can just recall maybe a little farmer in the village that is having maybe an input worth of $100 and they are paying $10. They're going to value the $10. They're going to take the input at their own, then just giving it free, because they're always going to say it's going to come free. But if they are putting some resources into it, they're going to take ownership of it. So we are changing that, because they're going to put money into it, and as such, they want to maximize profit. So if they are putting something into it, they want to get it back. So they're going to start focusing on the business aspect than just getting handout. Also creating other avenue that when they produce their commodity can be taken to the market. Mm-hmm. And we also look at the consumption aspect, what people need before you can produce. Because you can just produce without really being marketable. Okay. Yeah.
So what is the youth population in Liberia? Approximately.
Our youth might be close to 50%.
Okay, so it's a youthful population.
It's a youthful population. Yeah. Because most of the old people were killed. And then we also have some huge problem in terms of youth, because the war created a blank generation. Can you imagine 14 years of civil war? Young people were fighting. People started fighting. People began child soldiers at the age of like from 14 to 7. You are almost like 21 years without going to school, just fighting.
Yeah.
So what can we do with these people?
Yeah.
Most of these people can find job into the agricultural sector. Only if maybe we give them basic knowledge and develop the value chain, the agricultural value chain. Because these are not people you can send them back to formal school, to go back to school, to go get a college degree, become an accountant. Some of them can be mechanics that can work in agro-processing factories. Some of them can be just farmers and also find other things to do along the value chain.
So at the level of the ministry and the government, do you have policies targeting youth in agriculture?
The ministry has a lot of training center for youth. They have the Timutu camp working alongside with the Ministry of Youth and Social Welfare, where youth are acquiring training, and from there they are empowered to get self-employed. And
how's the picture of agriculture like in Liberia? According to you, what are the different opportunities that are there for anyone, for youth, and also for anyone who wants to get into?
If you look at agriculture right now in Liberia, it's mainly on small-scale subsistence farmers, because most of these farmers, they are small scales that use rudimentary tools to do farming, and as such, they are just doing farming to feed themselves. But where we are going now, we are transcending from that level to go to a level where we are looking at agriculture as a business. There are a lot of opportunity into the agriculture, along the agricultural value chain. There are a lot more opportunities.
Yeah. So from what I understand, it is yet to be explored, like how more youth can get into processing, service provision, and this kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Right now, there are very few people that are getting involved into processing, and we are trying to expand. One of the projects I'm implementing, we are trying to operationalize the cassava industry subsector and also the red subsector. I took a couple of our champion in the cassava processing sector. We took them to Nigeria to do a study tour. As I speak to you right now, we have IRTA installing flash dryer, a mini factory for cassava processing, for cassava processing in Liberia. So there are a lot of opportunities because most of what we produce are not being processed. Even if you look at on a large scale level, I can show you we have like Firestone Liberia, they are producing rubber. We have one of the biggest rubber plantations in Liberia, but no value being added to any of the product in Liberia. They are taken out of the country and processed, coming back into the country very expensive for us. But if we now looking at this new paradigm shift where we are trying to do value addition along the agricultural value chain, maybe from production straight to consumption, there are a lot of things that are going to take place. They're going to be a huge employment. You're going to be employed into the factory. They're going to be the revenue going to be generated for the country as well, and a lot of influx of businesses going to take place.
So apart from your work at the ministry, are you involved in other projects? I saw something like the Moringa project.
I worked with the Moringa project when I was doing my undergraduate, seeing the importance of the tree, and by then we are just from war. There was a high rate of malnutrition in my country, and to help community solve some of these problems, I volunteered my service to work with the Moringa project at the university level with one American missionary.
Okay, so in Liberia, how is the business environment like? If a young person wants to start a business, is it okay? Like, is it easy for the person to register the business, getting a loan from the bank? How does it go?
Business in general or in agriculture?
In agriculture, agribusiness.
Registering the business, there are procedures actually in place in Liberia that you can register your business. But in terms of getting a loan or funds for agricultural business, basically it's high. because there are a lot of risks in terms of agriculture, a lot of uncertainty. So people are not really willing to give loan to young people to do agribusinesses, especially at the production level, because at the production level, they are not even sure whether you're going to produce. Yeah. But maybe at the manufacturing level, when it is developed, where people saying that your products are being taken out of the country, sent to maybe places that are direct link, that are direct business link, it's going to be easier. But right now, most of the farmers, they are basically into production, and people, the banks are not really setting the ball.
Yeah, and are there alternative finance system that exist, like microfinance? Yeah,
they have microfinance. What normally farmers are doing, they have, they call very saving loan, which in Liberia called Suzu Club. It's just like a community get together, they put the money together. And if you need the money, you come to the group, and the group give to you, maybe like for 15 or 25% over the time period, and you pay back. Yeah.
So according to you, what really are the challenges that you face in agribusiness in Liberia?
That's one main thing, finance, to get finance. And then we lack a lot of basic social amenities like road networks, electricity, pipeline water. Those are the issues that actually need to be solved, even only if young people will find it easier to get into agribusiness. Because if you are getting maybe into a mini factory and you don't have electricity, obviously you are using generator, and the overhead cost will be high. No business person want to have a high overhead cost. And as such, people just sit and watch. They want to get in there, but after doing all the analysis, they feel that nothing will be achieved later. But if these ideas, like you see America, you see a lot of people will get into other agro businesses because there are basic social services that are available to their need at all time.
So from your experience, what advice you have for youth for the YALI Network, for example?
My advice I have for youth, you should have a vision. Once you have vision, you have purpose. And if you have a purpose, you have passion. And if you have passion, you can do anything you have passion for.
And is there anything else you would like to share that I did not ask you? Something that we don't know about and we should know about Joseph or about Liberia?
About Liberia is a country with a lot of opportunities that even Liberians and other nationals can find. There are a lot of business opportunities that young people can collaborate, partnership to do better in Liberia. So we are welcoming all our YALI family all over the world to network with us in Liberia to make Liberia a better place and Africa a better place for every one of us. Together we can all achieve.
Yeah, I'm looking forward really to visit Liberia. So thank you, Joseph. It was a real pleasure talking to you.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
And hope to see you in Liberia.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nawsheen and Joseph, for that great conversation on agribusiness in Liberia. Be sure to come back for more inspiring stories from young African leaders on the YALI Voices podcast. Join the YALI Network at yali.state.gov and be a part of something bigger. Our theme music is E Go Happen by Grace Jerry and produced by the Presidential Precinct. The YALI Voices podcast is brought to you by the U.S. Department of State and is part of the Young African Leaders Initiative, which is funded by the U.S. government.